City of Northglenn, Channel 8, keeping you informed of events in your community.
I would like to call our September 24th regular City Council meeting to order. Joanna, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Dodge?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobar?
Here.
Councilmember Sowers? Here. Councilmember Leidy?
Here.
Councilmember Downing? Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Councilmember Whitman will be absent. Councilmember Duran Mullica? Here. Councilmember Wilford?
Here. Thanks. Would you stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jason, is there any response to Citizen Inc?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Are there any agenda additions and deletions from the council? No? Okay. Then we will go right into an interview for the Citizens Affairs Board with Mr. Joe Brown.
Oh, I get to go first.
You get to go first. Yay. Come on up.
I want to.
That means I get to leave first.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not true.
Hello, how are you?
Hola. Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay, so you are applying for the Citizens Affairs Board.
Correct.
You want to share a little bit about why you want to do that and what your qualifications are?
Don't know if my qualifications are good enough, but served on council for 8 years. I've been on I was the liaison for the Parks Board, liaison for, not the Planning Commission, what was the other one? Oh, no, NERA. I was on the NERA Board. I served on the Planning Commission.
Historic Commission.
Historic Preservation Commission, yes, exactly. I forgot all about that. It's just, so it's to stay involved, basically, now that I'm off council, and there's an opening for the Citizens Affairs Board, so here I are.
Okay. Well, does council have any questions for Mr. Joe Brown? Jenny?
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm sure it's fun to be on the other side.
It is. It's actually a whole new perspective.
I'm sure. Great. So tell me, why the Citizens Affairs Board in particular?
You know, years and years and years ago, before I even got involved with the city, I had expressed an interest in being on the Citizens Affairs Board, but they didn't have an opening in Ward 2. So I attended a couple of meetings, and that was when we met over in the jury room, I think, which is right across from here. And so I never fully pursued it. But now there's an opening, and it's been open for quite some time, so I think it's a perfect fit.
And where do you see your involvement really going in terms of that board and commission? What are you really hoping to get out of the experience and contribute to the
I'm certainly going to learn more of what the Citizens Affairs Board does, you know. I mean, there's, like I said, I attended a few meetings, but I've never really been involved with it since then, and it's probably been 10, 15 years. So I'm not, my head isn't completely around it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
More of just a comment. Thank you for volunteering, and yeah, I think it would be a great addition to the board, and I'm sure they'd appreciate to fill that seat. I know it's been empty.
Absolutely.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite council person?
All of you are my favorites.
Good answer.
I have a favorite city attorney too, but he never talks to me. He won't even give me the time of day.
I'm sure he'd make lunch for free, or make time for free lunch with you.
Well, sir, thank you for applying. We're
Thank
glad
you.
to see you here, and I think you'd be a great addition to the board, so.
All righty, thanks.
Thank you. See you next time. All right, we have 2 proclamations tonight. I'm going to come down. I have somebody, a recipient, or recipients for one. I'm going to do the conflict resolution first. Okay. This is a proclamation in support of Conflict Resolution Month. Whereas conflict is a normal part of the human experience, and we acknowledge that conflicts arise among family members, neighbors, friends, and co-workers in our community, and whereas resolving conflict in productive ways requires learned skills, community resources, and/or trained professionals, and whereas conflict resolution encompasses many forms of responses to differences, such as mediation, arbitration, facilitation, collaborative decision-making, ombudsman activities, and restorative justice practices. And whereas these conflict resolution processes empower individuals, families, communities, organizations, and businesses to foster communication and devise solutions that are acceptable and responsive to the needs and interests of all parties involved. And whereas community-based conflict resolution programs work to strengthen local relationships by fairly and equitably resolving neighborhood and community conflicts, and opening community dialogues based in reason and mutual respect. Now therefore I, Carol Dodge, Mayor of the City of Northglenn, Colorado, do hereby proclaim October 2018 as Conflict Resolution Month in the City of Northglenn, and join leaders across the state to use this opportunity to discuss the principles and use the practices of conflict resolution in our homes, schools, neighborhoods, congregations, and workplaces. I encourage every resident to reflect upon the conflicts present in his or her own life and to work responsibly to peacefully resolve those conflicts. Dated at Northglenn, Colorado, this 24th day of September 2018. Okay. The second one is for Customer Service Week. So I would love Mr. Gene Maypole and his crew to come forward, because you are the lucky recipients of this proclamation this evening. Is that correct?
Yes, we are.
All right. You want to introduce who you brought with tonight?
All right, tonight is Justin Minu, Troy P. Hill, Charles P. Hill, and Bill Williams.
All right, gentlemen.
The rest of my crew had fired and selected them. So there's 3 missing.
I just realized I left the most important part up here.
Good.
Hang on. I'm going to grab it. A little choppy, but nonetheless, we will get this done. All right, I'm going to read the proclamation first, and then I have some special accolades for you and your crew, okay? And thank you for being here tonight. Whereas in 1992, the United States Congress proclaimed that National Customer Service Week be recognized as an annual event and celebrated during the first full week in October. And whereas National Customer Service Week is set aside to recognize the importance of service excellence and honor those who demonstrate outstanding customer service and who consistently perform their duties with the highest level of professionalism. And whereas the City of Northglenn is committed to providing the highest and most efficient level of customer service, and it is important that high-quality customer service be a goal of every person in the organization. And whereas the City Council desires to express its sincere thanks and appreciation for the excellent service provided by employees of the City of Northglenn, and wishes to acknowledge the quality service provided by employees externally to residents and the public, and internally to their fellow coworkers. And whereas by recognizing National Customer Service Week, we can provide an opportunity to generate an even stronger commitment to customer service excellence through motivation and teamwork to continue throughout the year. Now, therefore, I, Carol Dodge, Mayor of the City of Northglenn, Colorado, do hereby proclaim the week of October 1st through October 5th, 2018 as Customer Service Week in the City of Northglenn. I hereby honor the staff of the City of Northglenn and their commitment to service, and encourage our staff to continue their efforts to provide quality assistance and support to all those who seek our services. dated at Northglenn, Colorado, this 24th day of September 2018. So this will be for you and your crew. You should accept this. I'm going to say a few words about your crew, and then I'll let any of you who would like to speak share a few words. But thank you so much for your service, and really that goes for all of our staff. We have great customer service in the city of Northglenn. Every single department, they all provide customer service to the citizens. I don't think I've ever actually heard a bad thing. So I think we've got really great employees here, and that's everybody here who provides customer service. All right, Gene. Gene Maypole and his crew provide excellent customer service through the following services for Northglenn. Streets is responsible for all of the traffic control at every city event. This includes 4th of July, Pirate Fest, Magic Fest, Food Truck Carnival. They also assist as needed for construction projects, residential streets program. Contractor failed to install pedestrian crosswalks as school was about to begin, so Gene and his crew installed all the crosswalks at the schools. Thank you very much. The Justice Center. Streets assisted in hauling out excess dirt work, saving the city a substantial amount of money. Bike path. Removal of existing path saved $15,000 on the project. Concrete flat work. Graffiti removal includes detective work. Streets used a trail cam to capture a photograph of the culprit responsible for vandalizing city property. A trail cam. Now we know to look out for those, right?
We hide them.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Sign requests. All departments ask streets for signs. All of them. Put that emphasis on that. All of them.
We get a lot of requests.
Okay. Institutional knowledge. If something is old and unknown, Gene is almost always the first call. The list could go on and on. The remarkable aspect about everything above is that the majority of this work is outside of the job description for this crew, so they go above and beyond. Their actual job tasks include maintaining the streets throughout the city of Northglenn, crack sealing, pothole repair, asphalt grinding, asphalt patching, street sweeping, replacing and creating all the new street signs with the new logo. So you do all this stuff on top of your regular work, right?
We never have a lot of things to do.
Okay. All this work occurs in the roadway with traffic. Imagine sitting at your desk trying to perform your job with tens of thousands of angry motorists. Well, they're not all angry. I don't know who wrote this, but they're not all angry. Flying by you at 30 to 40 miles per hour. This crew is unheralded and deserves this recognition tonight for what they are asked to do every single day. I cannot think of a more deserving department to receive this, so congratulations to all of you.
Basically, I could not do it without the support of my staff. We work as a great team. I feel like we take on tasks that we may not have knowledge of, but we learn that knowledge. We gain a lot of experience. These guys work very good together. Let's say I could not do and accomplish what we accomplished without every one of these guys. So, that's it.
Say anything about your leader here?
Maybe I should leave now.
Good boss.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the recognition that City Council has given us and Jimmy Murphy, and with the transition of Public Works and the people that are leading that, just to be able to be up here and accept this award is pretty awesome. So I know it's a busy time, so it's cool to get a little recognition.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Just ditto on that one?
Ditto.
Yes, sir? Well, thank you all very much for coming tonight and accepting the proclamation. Go above and beyond. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. You are dismissed. Have a great evening, you guys.
Go Rockies.
Good job, boys.
Next, we move to public invited to be heard. limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Statements shall be related to city business and limited to matters of community interest. Anyone sign up for public invited to be heard tonight, or if you didn't sign up, you can still come forward. No? Okay. Fine, we will move to the Legislative Policy Committee update. Is there one tonight?
No, this afternoon's meeting was canceled.
Okay. All right. We move to the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Joanna, would you open the vote, please? Sorry.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and the consent agenda passes unanimously.
Thank you. All right, we will move to public hearings. Tonight we have two. The first one being CB 1913. Joanna, would you read the title, please?
A bill for an ordinance amending Section 5-18-2, Section 9-8-12A, Section 9-14-32, Section 10-19-2, Article 18-2, Article 18-14, and Article 18-16 of the Northglenn Municipal Code.
Thank you. I will open the public hearing for CB 1913. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against CB 1913? Seeing no one come forward, I will close that hearing, and we will move to public hearing for CB 1914. Joanna, please.
A bill for an ordinance amending Section 18-14-8C of the Northglenn Municipal Code concerning the source of medical marijuana offered for sale and/or distribution by licensed medical marijuana centers, and Section 18-14-26C concerning revisions to the number of ounces and plants that may be sold by such centers.
I will open the public hearing for CB 1914. Is there anyone here who would like to speak for or against CB 1914? Okay, seeing no one, I will close that hearing, and we will move to ordinances, second reading of CB 1913. I would think that you might not want to read that long title again. So, actually, can I just get a motion on that one?
Move to. Second.
And Corey, if you would give us an explanation, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of council, this ordinance is necessitated by a change in state law where the reference to alcohol and marijuana licensing used to be in a state title known as Title 12, and the state legislature in 2018 took all the Department of Revenue based licensing functions that were in Title 12 and made a new Title 44. So this changes the Northglenn Code to change the references from Title 12 to Title 44.
Are there any questions? No? Hearing none. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
Hold on. This is you this.
I know, well, I disappeared from my.
I'll close that vote, and CB 1913 on second reading passes unanimously.
All right, we'll move to second reading of CB 1914. Joanna, I will let you off the hook on that one again.
Move to approve.
Make a motion. Corey, please.
Madam Mayor, members of council, this ordinance also brings the Northglenn Municipal Code into compliance with recently adopted legislation. Two issues in this, both related to medical marijuana. The first is, over time, the state legislature has determined to eliminate what's known as the vertical integration requirement for medical marijuana, and it's doing so over a couple of years. And the other is that it used to be that medical marijuana businesses had to have a certain number of plants tied to the number of patients. House Bill 1381 also eliminates that requirement. So once again, this ordinance, if adopted, brings Northglenn's municipal code into compliance with the newly adopted state law.
Thank you. Council have questions? No? Hearing none. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Thank you. Please vote.
You jinxed me. I know. Wait.
I'll close that vote, and CB 1914 on second reading passes unanimously.
Right. Yep. Thank you. Okay, we will move to resolutions. Tonight we'll start with CR 110. Joanna, would you read the title, please?
A resolution approving the 2019 Parks and Recreation user fee schedule.
Jason, are you going to
Yeah,
handle
thank
this
you.
one? Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Mayor. As part of the annual responsibilities of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, along with staff, they'll review and recommend user fees for the upcoming year. Included in your packet is a recommendation for 2019. Staff recommends approval of CR 110. Amanda Peterson, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Culture is here. Council has any questions regarding the process or the schedule itself?
Questions from council?
Yeah.
Okay. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 110 passes unanimously.
Thank you. We move to CR 111. Joanna, please.
A resolution approving the City of Northglenn Sustainability Plan.
Second.
Jason?
Mayor. The plan document before you is meant to serve as a guiding and reference document for the city now and into the future regarding sustainability. Staff recommends approval of CR 111. Brooks Svoboda, Planning Director, is here to answer any questions regarding the plan.
Thank you. Are there questions? No questions? Brooke, it's an amazing plan, and I did read through your documents.
Great.
I really liked it. I mean, it was very readable, and it pertained very much to Northglen's situation. I just thought it was really good, applicable. It had things that we really could do to work towards. I just liked how you presented it, so I think you guys did a great job, your whole staff. Thank you very much.
Second that.
Okay, Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
Vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 111 passes unanimously.
Thank you. We move to CR 112. Joanna, please.
A resolution to authorize the city manager to issue a purchase order to Howden Roots LLC for a total amount not to exceed $74,519 for programmable logic controllers for the wastewater treatment plant.
Second.
Jason?
Staff recommends approval of CR 112 to issue the purchase order for replacement of the control panels at the wastewater treatment plant. This is kind of ongoing repairs and maintenance type of project. Kent Kilselman, the interim Public Works Director, is here to answer any technical questions that you may have regarding the panels.
Thank you. Questions? Kent, I have a question. Thought you were off the hook, but. So this is, I'm sure you're going to say, this is a really dumb question. Why, so 1 is fixed and 2 need to be fixed. Is this correct?
Correct. So with, good evening, Mayor, Council. So with the Headworks project, we added an additional blower to meet our requirements for the Headworks project. So we have a brand new blower and 2 10-year-old blowers. So this is similar to the UV system where we're upgrading to meet our requirements for the state, and we have to bring the other stuff into compliance that works with our new stuff. So that's what these blowers are going to do. And Howden is the sole source for servicing this stuff in Colorado.
So for me, it's just a quantity thing because I'm seeing 2 blowers, but then in quantity, you have 1 for $74,000.
Yeah, it's kind of all together. So it's just like one lump sum thing. They're going to fix the blowers. They're going to replace the PLC and the master control panel, all in kind of one lump sum.
Okay. I just need a clarification of the 1. Yeah. I thought, is it 1 or is it 2? Okay, got it. That's it. Any other questions for Kent while he's here with us? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 112 passes unanimously.
Thank you. Move to CR 113. Joanna, would you read the title, please?
A resolution opposing Amendment 74, an attempt to amend the Colorado Constitution to drastically limit state and local government services at a high cost to taxpayers.
Motion to approve. Second.
Thank you, Mayor. Amendment 74, a brief summary of this, is a proposal to amend the Colorado Constitution to require the state or a local government to compensate a property owner if a law or regulation reduces the fair market value of his or her property. So that's a brief summary of what the entire bill is about.
Are there questions?
I've got a comment on the next view. Instead of just having the mayor sponsor this, I think the entire council in Bank should do that, if the rest of the council wants to do it. But I think that would be appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, why not? I thought it was all of the
No,
councils.
well, this way.
Oh, you mean to
all
sign the
council-
resolution?
All council would have their names for sponsorship instead of just the mayor's, just in Bank.
Sure, that makes it more effective, that's fine. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think it's a great suggestion.
I want to say a little bit, I'm sorry, Amendment 74 is very ominous for cities and towns and statutory towns in Colorado. The takings amendment that they're adding, they're adding just a little bit of verbiage, and the little bit of verbiage is very unclear. It is open to very differing interpretations by whatever judge may have to hear a case in the future. And what it will do to cities and towns is it will open us up to anytime we make a law or we designate a parcel of land for a certain land use. I mean, it almost goes to every decision we make. We will be sitting here thinking, are we going to have litigation over this? Because it opens us up to litigation. The property owner can sue for fair market value, and it is very unclear as to what fair market value is at this point, and it's unclear if this will be retroactive because there's no wording also. Did you want to add something? You're chomping.
It is the Attorney's Full Employment Act.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And that is, I mean, I'd echo what the mayor is saying. This would be great work for attorneys and bad for the taxpayers that have to pay for that.
Right, because obviously we'd be paying for litigation with taxpayer dollars, and you know, we don't want to do this. In Oregon, they passed it in 2014, and 3 years later they had to go to the voters to repeal it, because I think they came up with, I think, $8 billion in legal costs in the state for all of the litigation that went on, and it's just going to cripple municipal governments' abilities to get anything done. It's been brought forward by the Farm Bureau, but kind of supported, not kind of supported, definitely financially supported by the oil and gas. So it's pretty much a knee-jerk reaction in response to the ballot measure to eliminate setbacks, or no, to make the setbacks 2,500, I'm sorry. Pardon me, 112?
Yeah.
Yes. So they're just, oil and gas is feeling like, well, if you're going to do something to us, we're going to do something back. So it's a little bit of a retaliatory measure. And I know a lot of organizations that are supporting it. Obviously, CML is big on it, because anytime you infringe on municipalities, you know, ability to legislate in their own cities, they are going to back us. So I very strongly would vote that you read this legislation. I have a lot of information that I could share with people too that I got from CML. So anyway, I like that we're taking an opposing view on this.
Can I ask a question, Mayor? Yeah. So with this resolution and the ones coming up, if we oppose or support a particular issue, are we, I mean, does that get published anywhere else, or do we provide any type of additional social media on some of these topics, or what kind of plays out?
Yeah, let me answer that question if I can, because this is a Fair Campaign Practices Act issue. The city is actually prohibited from publicizing this resolution any different than it does other resolutions. What the Fair Campaign Practices Act does is it authorizes cities to talk this way through the adoption of a resolution for or against a ballot issue, but it can't publish it any differently than it would, for example, the resolution on the Recreation Center user schedule. Now, having said that, you as individual council members on your own time can do what you'd like, whether it includes this resolution or any other materials you may have. It's just that the city as an entity has to treat this resolution like it would any other resolution.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Are there any other questions? No, hearing none. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 113 passes unanimously.
Thank you. We move to CR 114. Joanna, would you read the title, please?
A resolution in support of Adams 12 five-star schools, ballot issue 5C.
Motion to approve.
Second. Jason or Corey? Jason?
This is follow-up from the September 17th study session where school representatives provided some detail on their Elevate plan funding proposal for issue 5C, which is generally to generate $27 million to help support ongoing expenditures of the school district.
Thank you. Are there questions? Comments?
I have a comment. So there are this coming November, there are two options for us to look at increasing school funding. 5C is directly for Adams 12, and then we also have 73, or 74, 73, thank you, which is for a statewide education initiative. But I'm actually personally supporting both. One thing that I have personally experienced when touring schools, especially in Adams 12, is just how different they are from the schools that I attended as a child and how limited some of the extracurricular activities are. I'm lucky where my daughter gets to go to Studio, which has a lot of art and music integration in their program. But when I went to some of the other classrooms, I mean, the music and arts programs were so diminished, and I never realized that this was actually happening, that our schools, these types of extracurricular activities were just kind of brought to like the bare bones. And so I think unless, you do have the opportunity to go out there and see our schools and see what's available to them, you might not realize just how much these cuts have cost our kids to where, they won't have the same experiences we had when we were in elementary school. So I definitely support 5C.
Anyone else? Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
Close that vote, and CR 114 passes unanimously.
Thank you. We move to CR 115.
And these will all be involved with the amendments that we're doing, right, the four? Well, the entire council? Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Okay. CR 115. Joanna, would you read the title?
A resolution supporting Amendment 73 for the purpose of increasing funding of public education in Colorado.
Move to approve. Second.
Jason?
Amendment 73, as the title reads, is out there to help fund public schools. The proposed amendment would be to the Colorado Constitution and Colorado statutes to increase funding for preschool through 12th grade in public education by raising the state individual income tax rate for taxpayers with taxable income over $150,000 and increase the state corporate tax rate to provide additional funding for education. Property taxes levied by school districts, the set assessment rate currently is 7.2%. It would be reduced to 7.0% on residential properties, and then decrease the assessment rate to 24% from 29% for certain non-residential properties.
Are there questions or comments? Hearing none. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
Close that vote, and CR 115 passes unanimously.
Thank you. And we move to CR 116. Joanna, please.
A resolution supporting Proposition 110 to increase transportation funding across Colorado.
Move to approve.
Second. Jason?
So Proposition 110 proposes to amend the Colorado statutes to increase the state sales and use tax rate from 2.9% to 3.52% for a period of 20 years. The distribution of the new tax revenue for transportation would be broken down as follows: 45% to the state, 40% to local governments, 20% to counties, and 20% to cities and towns. And the final 15% for multimodal transportation projects. Additionally, this question would permit the state to borrow up to $6 billion for transportation projects and limit the total repayment amount, including principal and interest, to $9.4 billion over the next 20 years.
Thank you. Comments, questions?
I guess. So one thing I really like about this bill, or this initiative, is that it actually creates a funding source for transportation versus some other opportunities on the ballot this November might not do so. So, for example, this would actually, create its own money to solve some of our transportation needs. What's great about this is that there is a lot of opportunities for local communities to get some of these monies, which isn't the case in some other initiatives coming over. So this is the best. This has Northglen's interests in mind when it comes to funding our transportation needs in our region. So it's the best option we have.
Thank you. Anyone else? I also? Over. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with all of you. I think this is a really good approach to solving our overall transportation problem that folks are experiencing across our state. I know that I commute every day to Wheat Ridge, and the mileage doesn't quite add up with the amount of time that I'm spending in my car every day. And so I think, if the voters approve this proposition, I think that there's a really good chance that we could really make a dent in keeping folks off of the roads and spending more time, hopefully with their families or doing the things that they love and that make Colorado great. The other thing is that I think having some of the revenue generated by this proposition come back to Northglenn and us having the power to then put those dollars to use and really make an impact on some of our streets that need them the most, like Huron and 112th, I think sets everybody up for success. So I'm excited that we're looking at supporting this tonight first.
Good, thank you. Anyone else? No. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 116 passes with 1 no vote cast by Mayor Pro Tem Escobar.
Thank you. We will move to discussion items. We have one this evening, the Ralston House update with Kent Kisselman. Hello again.
Good evening again. So Ralston House update. They've completed the exterior work and working on inside painting and getting the drywall completed. They've begun some site work on the site. It looks like we're going to begin the demolition of the existing building probably the second week in October, and then they'll finish the remainder of the site work and get wrapping up on this project.
Good. Sounds good.
Still
Moving fast.
Well under the contingency that we have. There'll be a couple items next month. I don't know what those are right now, but I did speak with Nate, and he will for next month. So you'll see something in yellow next month on your packet.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions on the Ralston House? Becky?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the completion time is. When is when are we going to be done? Grand opening, ribbon cutting.
Yeah, I'll have to find out, and I can get that information back to you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
It's going to be up to the Ralston.
Up to the Ralston. So you'll let us know?
Someone
In case I
will.
missed it.
Someone will let us know.
Okay, perfect.
Any other questions? No? Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
All right. We move to communications. Jenny, we'll start with you.
Great, thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem Escobar and I hosted our Ward 4 meeting last week, and I wanted to say a very heartfelt thank you to all of the residents who came out, as well as the staff and all of the candidates. We had 4 candidates join us to talk about their vision for Northglenn, as well as for the state of Colorado, and what they'll do if they're elected. We had over 60 residents join us, which is exceptional. And Ward 4 always makes us very proud with their level of participation. Additionally, we tried something new. And so what we did was, in addition, obviously, to sending out postcards and having folks come in person, we also live streamed the live streamed via Facebook the meeting and had just about 135 views. So I think that's a great way if anybody else is looking at ways to interact with their residents. That doesn't always include them coming to you. If you want to learn how to set it up, I'm happy to teach you. I'm sure staff can teach you as well. But anyway, wanted to share that. And then we did have a number of children check in for the child care option so that their parents could participate in the meeting. And I'm looking forward to continuing that in the future and hopefully spreading a love for democracy to our younger residents. Speaking of younger residents, I want to congratulate Purple Moon Early Child Learning Center. They opened for their very first day today, and they'll be hosting their ribbon cutting tomorrow at 4 p.m. And I really hope that everyone on council comes, as well as residents come. They've done an extraordinary job in renovating the old Shepherd's Hall community space or church space, and they've just turned it into a state-of-the-art learning facility for our young residents. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope that everybody will come out and help them celebrate. And that's all for me tonight.
I'm just curious, how many children did you have at the daycare, for daycare at your board meeting?
I believe 2.
2? Mm-hmm. Okay, I was just curious. And then is your plan moving forward to publicize that a little bit more? Do you normally have a lot of children there? I'm just curious, because we don't have children, but I don't know if it's something we should be off.
Yeah, I mean, so we have had children come to our board meetings in the past. I left publicizing the board meeting up to staff, much in the same way that I think everybody around the dais does. Mm-hmm. But my hope is that by offering it and talking about it and promoting it, that residents start to see it as an option and start to consider being more involved in their community. Certainly when we held our last Ward 4 meeting at the park, that was the most children I've ever seen come to a ward meeting. And unfortunately, we're not able to hold ward meetings at the park every year, multiple times a year. So I think this is at least a good option.
I think it is too. I just wanted to know how well it was received in the community. I do think that it's something that's going to take some time to grow, like a business, but I think it's a really good idea. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your communication. I was just curious.
No, I agree with you on that. I think it's going to take time, but I think that we're off to a great start, and I think it's a really great way to encourage participation.
Great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Julie?
All right, so Ward 3 is up next. We have our meeting this Saturday, September 29th from 11 to 2 at the Justice Center. It's our annual barbecue, so feel free to join us and come and tour the new Justice Center for those who haven't had the opportunity to come out yet. So Marcy and I are very excited about seeing everybody this Saturday. And then other than that, I had Dr. Cog, the Denver Regional Council of Governments meeting last Wednesday night. Unfortunately, the organization was not able to pass a support resolution for Proposition 110 like we were able to tonight. A lot of it had to do with the rain. I think a lot of people just decided not to show up that night. So it's going to come back to the directors next month, and I think we'll have enough support at that point, because these are, Dr. Cog is where all of the, the leading, advocates for transportation kind of hang out at this meeting. That's definitely where they end up, and there's a lot of support for 110. We just didn't have the votes.
Who were the no votes?
Well, that's really interesting. I didn't catch their names, although I was kind of peeking at titles. But there were several people who, I guess, according to policies set forth by their city, they were not able to support Proposition 110 without their council or township council or group supporting it first. So I think there was a little bit of a timing issue with some of those folks who couldn't take that. Okay. So,
Curious thing. Do you have anything else?
I'm set. Thank you.
Antonio?
Yes, thank you. Kudos to staff for support that we received at the Ward 4 meeting. We had a tremendous amount of staff there, code enforcement, Tammy Moon, city manager, Kent. I mean, we had tremendous support. I just want to say thank you to staff for showing up. Thank you for the residents who were there and offered their support and their input. This week I attended the City Hall, tour of City Hall, I guess it is. I don't know what the title is.
Ribbon cutting?
Yeah. Day at City Hall.
Like City Hall Day.
Day City Hall Day. Day at City Hall Day. I thought it was wonderful. Again, our staff did a tremendous job in making sure that the kids were orderly, well-informed. The presentations were excellent. I was very impressed. Again, thank you for staff and for their input and their participation. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to echo the City Hall Day. Staff did an amazing job. All the little pods that the kids went to, that's amazing that you guys did that, and I'm sure that they appreciated all your time, so thank you all for being involved. All I got to do was greet them and say hello, and then that was it, and then they were off. So there were a lot of them, and they were very enthusiastic at, what time of the morning was it? 9:30 when I got them, so I can't imagine how they were the rest of the day, but it was fun. Anyway, I'm just going to talk about that I've got a coffee with the mayor on Monday, this Monday, October 1st at 8:30 at Atlanta Bread, and you're all invited. So that's it for me.
I would like to thank Ward 4 for those awesome carrot cake whoopie, whatever the heck those were. Oh my gosh. I wanted to steal the whole plate on my way out, you know, but I held back. I thought that you guys did a fantastic job at your ward meeting. I thought that you were very powerful in your presence. I really did enjoy that. I loved the candidates that were there. And it was nice. I had predetermined things in my head, you know, but I felt like they did a really good job. And you got to where, you know, where you needed to be. Julie, I'm sorry Kyle doesn't want to spend his last long moment with you at lunch, but, you know.
No, he doesn't.
It's okay, Joe wouldn't want to either.
It's okay. It's grandma's always first.
It's been a pretty quiet 2 weeks, besides attending the Ward 4 meeting so I could meet the candidates. I really don't have anything to add.
Just to mention that the powwow was held over at Stonehocker, the 4th annual one, and it's getting bigger every year, so we really have good time. A lot more vendors this year. They started out with maybe 2 the first year, and now they were up to almost 20. So that, you know, it is being well received. Cool. Yeah. So we're excited.
I don't have anything new, just again, the Justice Center ribbon cutting was a beautiful event. Our city staff is just a class act, and they're just amazing. I'm impressed every time I attend an event, and it was really inspiring too. On September 11th, the ceremony was beautiful and heartfelt, and it was a pleasure to be a part of it.
Nothing too big. I just want to say Ward 1's going to come back, and we're going to try to get as many people. I really like your innovative ideas with doing Facebook Live and thinking of other ways to engage different groups in that, as well as childcare. That's awesome. And a belated happy birthday to Councilmember Lahady. Another trip around the sun, girl.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it for me.
Joanna?
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
Jason?
Nothing tonight.
Corey?
Nothing for me either.
Oh, we are easy tonight. Okay, we have one more segment of public invited to be heard, limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Is there anyone who would like to come forward? Brooke? Wow.
As long as he doesn't have a PowerPoint.
Oh, my God.
I just wanted to thank you, Mayor and Council. Since you guys were doing the resolution and it was going so smoothly, I didn't want to come up and say anything, but I just want to recognize, and I'd be remiss not to recognize Becky Smith and Ashley Cotty, who were the project managers on this, as well as the ICLEI team. Angie Fry's here tonight as well. But I also really want to point out that part of the large success of this project was the internal stakeholder committee. We had over 29 staff people involved in that, and level of participation varied from time to time, but we would not have had the success and, I think, to your point, the specificity that we have as a good starting point for moving forward with a sustainability initiative. So I just wanted to plug that and recognize those folks who were committed through this process all the way through.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're glad you did that. We appreciate everybody who was involved. That was a
Awesome.
big committee,
You,
though.
yeah.
Yes, it was.
Great.
Did everybody come to all the meetings?
Yes.
I would say that the first 4 or 5, yes, and then it started to trickle down a little bit to about 15, 12, 15 towards the end, but still.
That's still great. Yeah, that's admirable.
We had the stamina to sustain, so
All right, thank you,
That was
Brooke.
good. That was.
unintended.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who would like to come forward tonight? No. All right, thank you very much. On that, we are adjourned. Thank you for coming tonight.